Welcome to March 2026 ASSP Alabama Chapter meeting. If you would, please stand and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Randy, yes,
Yes, dear Lord, thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to gather together here to agree. We thank you for the ability to serve and protect. We thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity. We ask you to bless us, to bless our companies, to bless our employees. All things be with us and keep us. Amen.
Amen.
Today we have Randy Eastman joining us as a presenter. As you know, it's getting hot out there. It looks like it'll be summer before summer actually gets here. So Randy, if you would, give us the presentation today. Are we ready for the wonderful week that's coming?
All right, should change that, but anyway, basically, we're going to talk about heat to a certain degree. Okay, we'll skip that. Okay, the first two slides I should have deleted dealt with something called H2 OSHA from last year. The heat initiative that they're talking about ends in July. Well, apparently their plans are to renew it, and they're probably going to do another one of these H2 OSHAs this year. So look for all that to come, dates to be determined. Basically, there's an OSHA NOSH heat app, and there's this OSHA publication, OSHA resources, and this. Basically, I mean, what we're going to do is kind of talk about heat. As I get into this, I've gotten where I do this without slides more than with slides, but we'll go. I'll start talking OSHA. There is not an OSHA heat rule. There's a proposed rule. They've gotten comments. They're completing the assessment of those. So we will see what will come. But any OSHA regulation that I've been aware of usually takes close to 10 years to go and finish. There's no set thing. Some have been faster, some have been slower, but it's a process. And there's a lot of things you go through to get the rule. So we'll see where it goes. Emphasis areas, emphasis for inspections, those type things are all part of things OSHA looks at with this. They have been doing some heat inspections through the course of time. But again, with that, there's not a standard. So what do they actually do with that? It's more of an awareness, more of an increased things, but we do look and talk about those things. In the end of time, when you look at the standard, there's been a lot of issues where people talk about, well, it requires breaks, because if you look at the proposed standard, it requires a written program. The program is basically how you keep people cool. You know, what do you do about providing fluids? What do you do to keep them hydrated? What do you do in terms of training, awareness, the whole issues that go with these things. It also involves work, rest, shades things. It looks at break schedules. It looks at rescue plans. So that's the general broad scopes of it. I think the issue that most people have had is about trigger points. You know, the temperature that kicks this in. That temperature is going to be one that comes from the widget. It's not something that's just what's on the thermostat. It can also be tied into some heat warning things from the weather service, those type things that you can tie into it, do a calculation. But in Alabama, it's pretty simple. It's hot. You know, so we're reaching the point where you're going to be in those critical stages, like sooner than not. And it may be November to when that phase actually ends. So this standard actually makes a lot of sense. It's actually something you shouldn't need a standard for, because every bit of this is common sense. It's what you need to keep your employees proactively working. It's proactive so they can do their job, so they can be efficient. You get into the thing about if you have to take a breath break, if you have to do this, those type things. Well, those type things are also the type of things you need to be doing to look at keeping your people efficient and effective. I mean, as they get hotter, production goes down, their ability to do the job correctly goes down. So if they're not doing that properly, if they're not properly hydrated, properly cooled, they're not going to be living up to what you're paying them for. You've also got the instance that if you've got people as they go along, they can be confused, they can have issues, they can have poor judgment, and incidents happen. Not just they get hurt themselves, they hurt someone else, they hurt the property, they drop a load, they run a forklift into something, whatever. The list goes on. Now, this is an OSHA publication. It's actually a very good one. We printed them, we've given them out. You can get it online, make copies of it. There's a Spanish version of this too. I didn't bring any Spanish versions with me today, but we've got those and we've given them out. So when you look in so many of these jobs, there are a lot of just Spanish-speaking people. Large part of what I'm going to do is just go through this. First thing is understanding heat itself. The issue is the hotness, but it's the hydration. You know, you're keeping your body functioning by being well hydrated. And then it's also looking at things that counter that. So when you look at caffeine, so coffee, tea to a lesser extent, Coca-Cola, soft drinks, Mountain Dews, things with chocolate, the energy drinks. One of our guys were out doing a study with some of the stuff we have, and it's a wearable that kind of measures your body stress. And he was talking about just the way when somebody used an energy drink, the effect it had on their body and the impact on increasing the burden. So these things are real things. Other thing is just alcohol. I mean, that helps you be dehydrated. A number of times I've been out and we are cruising along, staying in some hotel, some project that's going on, and every vehicle there except mine has got a construction sign on it. And you see people around and literally the cases of beer you see being brought in for the next day. So it's not just what you're doing during the day, but while you're there as well that can impact you. And the answer is drink water. Drink lots of water. You're needing to replace what you're sweating out. Truth of it is, most of us are dehydrated constantly. If you looked across the entire American population on any given day, you're probably going to find out to some degree the majority or nearly everyone is already dehydrated. Now, the measures are simple, you know, drink water. So you're looking at the first of all is when you've got employees coming in. You know, as heat increases, you need to acclimatize them. So you're increasing the workload. If you've got new employees, if you've got employees coming back from vacation, if you've got employees that are moving into a different job where there's a higher exposure risk, you're looking at needing to work them up to be acclimatized. OSHA talks about the 20% rule, which is basically increase their work burden 20% each day till you get up to 100%. Now, I can promise you this is a real thing. Early in my career, I think I was at a foundry. And there was a guy that was a new employee. So, you know, they bring him in, he comes up to the, shift operators, shift manager's office. I think I got the flu, the symptoms he was having. And he was a new employee. It wasn't the flu, it was heat stress. So it's like, okay, why don't we give him a little rest, give him some water, see how he feels in a little bit. He recovered. But, this was in the 90s. Foundry, they really had no recognition, no awareness of heat stress being an issue. But with this, drink cool water. Now, OSHA will say tepid's okay too. This is their publication. It says drink cool water, at least 1 cup every 20 minutes. However you're doing it, it's like pushing the fluids. I mean, you look at people, you look at the amount of perspiration they have, You're trying to replace that sweat that's coming out of them. I mean, I was literally the other day, a cool day, and the guy comes by to do my termite inspection. So he's checking all the stations out in the yard. So he's out there for 30 minutes on, morning, 72 degrees, that type of day. He is just pouring water. And that's in March in Alabama. So that gets back to the acclimatization thing. So we have to be aware. But, drink water, drink lots of water. Take breaks. This is about cooling off, changing your exertion level, but it's also about getting out of hot environments. So if you've got an area where you can go, you can get some shade, you can get some rest, you can get some air conditioning. Those are all positive things. The other thing going from there is just a little bit of rest, but look at the jobs you've got. I mean, there are some jobs where it's just as hot everywhere, but then you've also got other jobs that are involving ovens, some process, some piece of equipment that generates heat. You need to be very aware of that as well. Again, be able to find a cool area, dress for the heat, light colored, loose fitting, breathable clothing. The big hats that keep it off of you from the sun. But also be aware of your PPE usage. There's chemical protective clothing, there's respirators, different things along those lines that are going to increase your heat burden. So understand that and be aware of looking at those things. It's not like you can do away with them, but you need to look at it. The other thing is watch out for each other. When you see an employee who is showing signs of a problem, if you're his coworker, whatever, intervene, look at them, talk to them, see what you can do about it. We had a fatality in Huntsville 2 summers ago. It was on a construction site, it was a hot day, and the guy was basically acting scary, just out of it. I think everybody thought he was on drugs. I don't know. We haven't had direct contact with anybody there. These are just the reports you see. He was in a critical stage of heat stress, and nobody was helping him. Nobody intervened until he passed out. And literally, they transported him and he died. But this is the part about understanding the stages of heat stress. You get to sweating a lot. That's the thing. You're showing signs there. Then you progress up. And when you get to a point where you have dry, red, hot skin, that's critical. When you get to acting where you're confused, that's critical. Those are the points where you basically need to call 911. But the point is, before that, you need to also be able to know what to do as your rescue plan in terms of getting fluids in them, getting them to a cool area, loosening clothing, applying ice packs, whatever you can look at doing to get that core temperature down to avoid a critical issue. So anyway, and then they talk about face covering. Again, signs of emergency, abnormal thinking, slurred speech, seizures, loss of consciousness. Here we've got the example of a picture of a rescue where literally they've got somebody in a tub, dropping cold water on them. Anyway, support and technical abilities involving the system.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. But basically with this, if you got the symptoms we just talked about, headache, nausea, weakness, dizziness, elevated sweating or hot, dry skin, elevated body temperature, thirst, decreased urine output, then you need to see that they're drinking cool water, removing, loosening unnecessary clothing, move to a cooler area, cool with water, ice, or a fan. Do not leave alone. Again, do not leave them alone. Seek medical care. One other thing too is you don't want to go, hi, we're helping this guy. I mean, there's a lot of things. I heard a story the other day, we were dealing with things. It's like, I talked to somebody yesterday at the construction conference. The guy had been a victim of this and he had severe kidney damage from it, he was saying. And basically, hey, they took care of him. They put him in the truck. They got him a little cooler. They took them home and left them there alone. Do not leave them alone. Make sure they're taken care of, do the proper medical care, and that can be variable, but in a lot of situations, you may well have somebody look at them. It may be a situation where they need an IV, something to get some fluid in them. So those are the things you look at. That's the quick and dirty of this. Now, this is OSHA publication 4135-06. It's called Prevent Heat Illnesses at Work. Basically, if you go to OSHA.gov and type any of this stuff in, this thing will pop up. You can download it, you can share it digitally, you can print it, you can give it as handouts. This is a nice little size that we printed up. It works well for distribution. You see me looking at the screen, I can read the stuff off the screen easier than I can read it off here. That's the factor of, being whatever. Again, OSHA and NAP, that's the CPL that goes into what they're doing with that. Again, they have done inspections in certain hot industries, certain identified industries that it really goes through this summer, and they're looking at extending it. The purpose is to basically provide care, make sure people are aware, et cetera. This is the part of this from this. If there is an inspection going on in your facility, this is what they're going to be looking at. Your 300 logs, looking for any heat illnesses that showed up, any heat-related emergency room visits. They'll interview employees, see if they've got issues. They're going to ask if you got a program. Now, there's not a standard, but they're going to ask what your program is. And what I hear a lot of people say is, we make sure there's water out there. Okay, where is it? How much is it? Whose responsibility is this? Who does the training? How do you do rescue? Where do you have shade? I was talking to somebody the other day about this, and the answers I was getting were pretty sketchy. Think about that in terms of your lockout program. Hi, we give them a lock. Yeah, we hope they use it. Those type of things. Same type of thing. Is there a written program? How do you monitor the temperature? Where's the water? Is there unlimited supplies, breaks, scheduled breaks, access to shaded area? Provide times for acclimatization. Is there a buddy system in place? Do you have later changes, earlier start times, things when there's hotter weather? Rotation, training, first aid. Do you stress the importance of hydration? Again, these are the things you need to be addressing. Forget about it from the high, OSHA's going to look for this and will they cite you for this? These are the issues you need to be addressing. And essentially, they're going to go through, interview, and document those things. Heat levels, equipment, what the National Weather Service is saying. These were some of the industries from last year: bakeries, sawmills, petroleum, chemical manufacturing, furnaces, foundries, interviews, etc. These are kind of the OSHA standards: general duty clause, record keeping, PPE standards, sanitation, medical services, and first aid. Again, productivity is affected by acclimatization and taking breaks. You need your people to be efficient. For them to be efficient, they need to be well rested, well hydrated, cool enough to be healthy doing the job. And if they're too hot, things are going to affect their ability to do the work, their productivity levels, and their ability to make decisions. Signs and symptoms, we talked about this: headaches, nausea, thirst, abnormal behavior, slurred speech, decreased urine, dry, hot skin, heavy sweating, seizure, loss of consciousness. This is kind of a scaling up as you go. But usually by the time you get most of these, they need attention. They need to be taken off the job. You need to be doing what you can on the site and then assessing if they need medical attention. water, ice, loosen clothing, call 911, stay with them when you come into that addition. Again, we just talked about that. And that's me. This is important. It's pretty simple. I mean, the answer is water, drink more water. How do I make them drink water? Encourage them, but water, 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 water.
What I understand, how often do you see there's evidence that it's happened, but it's not on the record?
A lot of things.
Yeah.
You don't see it very often because usually when you get to record keeping, it ties into medical treatment. And most of the time, these things don't actually get medical treatment. Mm-hmm.
They don't think they need to know that.
Yes.
One of the things that I remember from another presentation, I think it was one of the ones when I was at AEC, they were talking about dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
And they mentioned that being 2% dehydrated had the same effect on handling heavy equipment and driving
As being
as having
drunk.
a 0.08, so a legally drunk
Yes.
alcohol level. And lots of the same exact, just like you showed, like slurred speech, the fusion, behavioral changes. And I think so I grew up working construction in Las Vegas, so it was a very real thing. It was hotter than sin. We didn't take breaks, then there's no place to find shade because in Las Vegas, it doesn't exist. And you would see these things, and I think the automatic assumption is that person's been doing drugs or they're drunk, which could have been true as well, but it's also 116 degrees. And I think it's even one of the things that made it challenging out there is here when you sweat, you see it like it soaks your shirt and you stay soaked. Out west, when you sweat, it evaporates so quickly that it can kind of look like you're not sweating. So, it's challenging all over.
You're talking about construction, and well, there's no shade. I mean, a lot of the sites we go on to, they've created it. They put up tents. They've got these portable air conditioning systems. You see a lot of fans. You got to be careful about the fans because, it's 100 degrees and we're blowing.
Exactly. Blowing
that's
dry air over you.
How do we define the operation of a convection oven? So it can make it worse, but this is the thing, making preparations to take care of these things. And all those things are things they need to look at in the plan of how to provide rest shade. But again, the other thing is just drink a lot of water, and people tend to not want to do that. And because, we will see these water bottles sitting around. Much the rest of it's sitting there. So it just depends. Anyway. So
It has a really nice free app, the heat index map. App, and basically it'll just tell you what the temperature is outside, what it feels like, and it gives a little thing where everything from caution up to warning, through warning up to danger. And it's just nice to, I help with the Civil Air Patrol cadets as well. So in my industry, we're inside. We're not generally dealing with this, but with the cadets, they get out and they start doing stuff. You're like, guys, you need to.
OSHA's got a lot of resources. It's like the second slide I sort of went through was like a page of resources they've got. And that's all there and available. So.
Yeah, there's one plant that I about that they were taking the data that was coming from that app that you got. This was more of an indoor environment, but indoor heat can be as big an issue. Obviously, you're talking about the foundry, and they actually put that up on a display, on a video display in various places around the plant. So you didn't have to worry about people individually going. They had it put up there that today is a yellow alert day, today's a red alert day. And it was just a way of just kind of making sure that people were mindful of the situation. I think that would, a lot of companies could benefit by doing things like that, just creating more general awareness of what the situation is as they're working.
Well, thank you, Randy, for that presentation. Normally we hand out a wonderful
It's all right.
You've got like 600 different.
Actually, the box with them, I think, are in my office.
Yeah, exactly.
His whole shelf is filled with them.
Yeah, good, the bad, the ugly, the one that only lasted once and was done, you got them all. So,
It's all right.
good guess. Anybody have any safety shares at all or anything out there? Other than the individual we talked with yesterday who was provided with Gatorade all day long, ended up with a third stage kidney disease from just being served Gatorade. One of the things he said is if you're giving Gatorade only, you should have water with it to dilute it. No. So conference events coming up, next Friday, Auburn's ASSP student section is doing a mini expo. It's $50 for safety, $10 for students. I think vendors is $350 a table, and again, it's next Friday. If anybody's going, let me know how it is. The Region 4 ASSP Region 4 conference is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, on the 22nd and 23rd. Matt, I know your schedule is busy. There is a comic convention May 30th to 31st.
Let me tell you,
City, Birmingham.
I went to the one they did last year, and apparently they didn't think that May was hot enough to bother running the HVAC system. You had some people who were sweating, and they were in costume.
Cosplay, oh.
It was bad, you know, it's like somebody here could use a little consultation on heat vest.
We know Randy's next speaking engagement.
That's right, we need to set that up.
You have to go in.
Let's talk this.
You have to go in costume though, so we can cosplay for you.
Wearing one right now.
Well, the Safety 2026 is out in California. Justin? I'm going to the Atlanta one, it's closer.
I'm going to the Atlanta one as well.
Then obviously the Governor's Safety and Health Conference came out. The announcement this week, Perdido's probably already sold out, vendors is already sold out, but there are a couple of backup hotels on the website. It's the 24th through 26th this August.
If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a sponsor, one of the sponsors, they do have some spots, some exhibitor spots open for people who are, want to set up as a sponsor.
So
I will say for last year for Alabama Governor's Safety, I just did a Airbnb, and it was way cheaper than the hotel. And it was literally right across the street from the hotel. It was a nice little place. And, I had the whole condo to myself, me and my wife. So if you're thinking about going down there and you can't find a room at the hotel, that's an easy solution.
Airbnb, huh? So, April 1st.
April 1st, yep, no joke. We actually do have a Tuscaloosa section meeting. We've got Paul Downs, who's going to be coming to present on sensor, direct reading sensors. He does a really nice review of that particular topic. I don't think we've had him. I don't know that we ever had him in Tuscaloosa. I think we had him here several years ago. But he does a really, really fine job on that. So that's coming up next Wednesday, and I'll need to get RSVPs from folks. I'm asking for, by end of the day, because I'll need to order the stuff probably Monday afternoon.
It's at the
It'll be at our Forte.
site.
Yeah.
And you blow off campus, so it's easier to get to.
It's easy to get. It's much easier than trying to get to our place on campus. It's a breeze just off 15th Street.
Is that the learning center thing?
It's just behind the little paint store. It used to be a music store. It used to be Tuscaloosa Music, and UA has those properties. They bought that and they renovated it, and it's nice training center that they've set up in there. So it's
Same place that you guys have been for a few years now?
we just got in there about like it's a little over a year ago at this point. Yeah, it's like I said, it's just off 15th Street, so it might be new to you, but it's easy to follow.
Tuscaloosa, like tries, I try to avoid that place.
Nice little location. We're sitting in parking, actually at the building directly across to the side, there's a nice big parking lot.
Well, we do have some parking in front. It's yeah.
The parking lot to the east side of, lots of parking there. April 17th is gonna be a recognition luncheon. We'll recognize all the long-term, members of ASSP in the elementary chapter. We'll also give out some awards to, Safety Professional of the Year, our Lifetime Achievement Award, John Placey, who's been in ASSP longer than ASSP's been around, I think. It was ASSC and who knows what it was before that. John was a member, and he's still a member today. May 15th, we got Mr. Jeff Rogers with the UTC here, doing a presentation on workers' comp, if you really understand it. June 11th, which is a Thursday, Steve Sawyer with, Bradfield and Gorey is gonna be teaching, some construction standard. We haven't got a title yet, but he'll be teaching on that. And then July is, no meeting, we never meet in July. And the April 17th event, obviously, we say thank you to our longstanding members. Our spy winner this year is Mr. Tom Robinson with AGC. He's one of the safety consultants here. Our Lifetime Service Award, I said, is Mr. John Placey. He's been a member over 50 years now. I think it was 50 last year, so he's 51 this year. We're gonna recognize our Jacksonville State University with 2 scholarships. Mr. Sam Curley and Mr. Paul Yarborough are our scholarship winners this year. Thanks to HEC for their donation as well into the scholarship fund. Question, Randy? You look concerned? Let's see. These are training opportunities both at the University of Alabama and Deep South Center for Occupational Safety Health. I usually pick a couple interesting ones. So in April, job hazard analysis.
There's a respirator one in April as well.
This is not the slide I updated this morning.
It's January,
This is from January.
you're a little bit late if you want to get into those classes.
I think I downloaded the wrong one by accident. Anyways, training, let's go to this, more important. I apologize for CEUs. We've had a problem with our CEUs being generated for some reason. We have gotten them from ASSP, the 2 that we used, September and October. This is the code you need to get your 0.1 CEUs from ASSP. And I sent this out to all the members who attended both in September and October, that these are the codes you need to get onto the ASSP website to download your 0.1 CEUs. You've also been given your CEUs from the University of Alabama for the litigation and the electrical training course we had at the PDC. We haven't got much from UAB. I sent out an email this morning with a few months that we haven't received CEUs. And I'll see if I get a response back. So we're working on getting our CEUs in a timely manner again, and unfortunately we failed the past year. For some reason, UAB has not been getting them to us for some reason. And like I said, a recognition luncheon is next month on April 17th. They'll be here at AGC. That's all I got. Enjoy lunch.
One quick thing, Cheryl was kind enough to send me the address for Forte for those who maybe might have difficulty finding it on Google. It's 1408 2nd Avenue in Tuscaloosa. 1408 2nd Avenue, Tuscaloosa.
So it's 1408 2nd Avenue. Tuscaloosa.
I mean, you know, it's the flyover road. It's the one that takes you over the railroad tracks.
The ball field with baseball team plays. At that stoplight, you'd make a left if you're coming by the ballpark. If you get to the ballpark, you went past it, there's one over the flyover line. This is gonna be the black building on the left side before you get to the flyover.
Should get it.
Let me mention too that we often get meeting notices that because of timing, we don't put them in the newsletter, but we do put them out on the website, on the ASSP, our Alabama ASSP website. So there may be some things out there that you like to see. Also, we've got a bunch of stuff out there for a safe state and for environmental things and those kind of issues. And we also add other activities that we know of in the area, AIHA and so on. So it's a good idea to every once in a while look at the website to see if there's something there that we don't have, we didn't announce or we didn't talk about a lot, but there may be other activities.
And we also do post job postings.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have one on site, up in Huntsville, Wilson Lumber is looking for a new safety, manager. The current safety manager is leaving sometime within the next couple of weeks, he's retiring. So we posted it on the website, for Wilson Lumber, they're looking for a safety manager.
We have an opening for a safety consultant, and I think that that opening is still open on the UA job line.
UA job line for, safety
For
consultant.
safety consultant for Safe State, yes, sir.
Well, this is environmental safety and health consultant one,
Safety and health consultant. one.
environmental safety.
Yeah, EHS consultant.
Consultant one on our website. Okay. Thanks. Y'all have a good one, safe trip back. You travel. Executive committee meetings, sure.
Two sandwiches for everybody.